Now, the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump is planning on cutting $4 billion in foreign aid for diplomacy and development. Members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee have written to the White House to urge the administration to reconsider the move. Here to talk more about how such a decision could impact Africa is Johanna le Blanc, a national security and foreign legal strategist. Ms. LeBlanc, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So first, is it that simple that the White House can just cut that $4 billion just like that?
Actually, Vincent, under laws that have been passed, only Congress has the constitutional right to rescind funding that has been appropriated to agencies like the State Department, USAID. So in a sense, the White House has essentially overstepped its boundaries, and now we're faced with a constitutional crisis. So members of the Appropriations Committee, both on the House and the Senate, and by the way, this is very bipartisan, have urged the administration to reconsider because the White House does not have the authority. However, what the White House can do is the White House can, in consultation with both the House and the Senate, make a request. And if the Senate and the House approves, then this could move forward. But right now, the White House does not have the authority.
So let's say they successfully push this and manage to get the cut. How will this impact African countries?
Obviously, if this were to happen, if this push were to move forward, it would deeply impact the continent in terms of foreign aid in the area of global health, development, NGOs. So funding in those areas would be severely reduced. And as people, we need to be concerned, we need to be alarmed, we need to reach out to our members in the Senate, in the House, to urge them to keep pushing the administration to not move forward with this. And also, I don't want people to think that this is an effort to just target the continent, because this would also impact countries in Latin America. It would impact countries in Europe. But if this were to move forward, it will have a huge implication on the global community at large. And one last thing I want the viewers to know is that this is money that was set aside already by Congress to State Department and USAID that has not been used. So the government, the Trump administration is saying, since those funds have not been used, I want to reconsider some of the programs and potentially rescind those funds. And it's very problematic because it will cause some implications in Africa.
Someone might say, well, this is about fiscal discipline. The United States is looking to kind of save on funds that don't have to be used, globally, and they want countries to individually be more responsible and kind of manage their own affairs instead of relying so much on the United States. I mean, isn't that an argument?
Obviously, that is an argument. I think our commander-in-chief made it very clear during the campaign and throughout his administration that America will always come first, right? But as the leader of the free world, the U.S. has a key role to play in helping other countries around the world with its development and global health problems, because we have to look at some of the issues and some of the problems that exist in the various countries throughout the world did not just happen overnight. U.S. foreign policies played a role in aiding some of those countries to be where they are, where some of the economies have crippled so bad that foreign aid is a necessity. But I think there is a great push by leaders throughout Africa to become self-sufficient. For example, I remember the president of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo, made a very beautiful speech in front of Macron, the president of France, indicating that how Ghana wants to move away from the notion of being a country that receives aid, but be a country that is more self-sufficient. And I think other countries have followed suit. But in the meantime, until Africa gets to that point, Africa needs help, Africa needs assistance, and this move should not move forward. So,
aside from the members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, I mean, what else can be done? Who else can do what?
I would recommend that there are embassies here in D.C. that represent various countries in Africa. As long as there is diplomatic relations with the United States, the embassies are here and they have ambassadors who represent those countries. I would recommend that ambassadors reach out to their staffers in their office who is responsible for congressional affairs, and whomever the White House liaison may be at these various embassies, to reach out to the White House and talk about the implication cutting aid would have on these respective countries.
Well, hope they listen to you. Johan, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I do appreciate it. That's Johanna le Blanc, who is a national security and foreign legal strategist, joining us today in the studio.